What's up guys? My name is Christopher and these are my 3 E46'S. All right guys, this is my titanium silver M3. This is my silver gray metallic ZHP, and this is my Laguna Seca blue M3. This thing is an absolute beast, and this is the perfect daily. And this car is a piece of, this is my 2002 E46 M3. This was actually the first BMW or M3 I ever purchased. But that being said, it is special and near and dear to my heart. A lot of the mods came on this car, and having owned 3 M3s of the E46 generation, I'll tell you the things I would not do to this car. The first one, BC racing coilovers are great for a budget, but having experienced Olin dedicated tracks and KWs and Coney yellows, I would not recommend going with BCs. It is extremely uncomfortable, harsh over bumps, and all around not great. It is a great budget-friendly performance suspension though. If you're still leaning towards going towards BC and that's where your budget is, go for it. A couple more things, all my cars are 6-speed manuals. It is a Mola red over titanium silver. For exhaust setups and engine setups, it does have Megan Racing headers with a Section 2 OEM Plus mid pipe and a Megan Racing muffler. The sound is questionable. I like the sound of it. It is a little bit more on the raspy side compared to all 3 of the cars that I have owned. But this one has a couple specific modifications done to it. I did do an Alcantara headliner in it myself, and I'm gonna pop the engine bay and go over some of the modifications in there. This one does have a K&N air filter. Not a big fan of it. It does suck a lot of oil and does mask up the mass airflow sensor, which does cause it to occasionally get a rough idle. So I haven't had the best luck with the K&N filter. It does sound great. It does sound very metallic-y. If you don't want to go with a full James or Turner CSL intake, this is a great option to go with. It's very budget friendly and works great. It's got a couple things like an electronic fan conversion, so it runs a little bit cooler. It is an updated system. It's good for back roads. And I do have the Megan Racing headers over here with the emissions thing that essentially heats up the catalytic converters. I could be saying that wrong. I'm sure there's somebody in the comments that knows it way better than I do, but you typically remove it if you don't have cats, and obviously it just cleans up the engine bay a little bit more and makes it a little bit lighter. I have the upgraded Vanos line and a couple small other components to it. You can see the BCs over here. They do have camber plates on the top that help adjust camber with a little bit of adjustments to go from hard to soft. I do have it in the softest setting right now because it is extremely rough over bumps and it just wasn't that enjoyable to me. So that's it for the engine bay. For wheels and tires, I'm running the Apex Arc 8s. It does have Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's on it. They are 9.5. It does have, I believe, a 10 mil spacer in the front. So if you were gonna get wheel sizes and you're running camber, I would recommend running a 10. This wheel is a little too small and doesn't fit exactly how I want without spacers, and I don't like running spacers. So yeah guys, I'm gonna hop in the car now, start it, and give you a bit of an exhaust clip, and just let me know what you think in the comments. This is my 2003 ZHP. If you don't know what a ZHP is, it's pretty special from BMW. It essentially got a lot of M parts on it from the M3, like control arm, a lower ride height from the springs, as well as a couple other things. It gets a lot done to the interior bits. It has sport seats, cube trim, Alcantara steering wheel, Alcantara shift boot and brake boot. And for the engine, which is super cool, it actually gets a different cam as well as a tune, making, I believe, 10 more horsepower. Don't quote me on that, but super special package done by BMW. Super awesome back in the day, and this car is phenomenal to drive. It does have the ZHP steering rack, so it makes it phenomenal. I believe it's the same as the 330s, but everybody loves to say it's different. Compared to the M3, the steering rack is a lot tighter. It is more precise to drive than the M3. The gear ratios are tighter. They're closer together, so when you get a turn in, it goes a lot faster than the M3. For drifting though, it is not fun for that. The only downside I can say is it does have an open diff, and the steering being that kind of tight does not help with sliding. Every input is very much amplified in the car, and so for that reason, it is an amazing back road ripper. It is not dialed for drifting, so if you're looking for a car to be a drift missile, you're gonna have to weld the diff, you're gonna have to get a different differential, and this is probably not gonna be the route you wanna go. But for everyday driving, back road cruising, this thing is hard to beat for the money. And to go over the wheels and tires of the car, what this car is set up on, it's on Coney yellow suspension with iBox springs. I think it gives it the perfect ride height, nothing too aggressive. It doesn't require any camber to fit a tire, have clearance, or anything of that nature. But I am running BBS CHRs. I thought these wheels were very time specific to the car. Right around the time this wheel came out, this car was out, and a lot of people did CHs with it. I thought the CHRs looked super cool, and the finish is pretty close to the paint, so that's one of my little favorite features about this car, especially the modification that I did to it. And it does have a vibrant exhaust. It sounds okay, but you guys can let me know in the comments below. This is my Laguna Seca Blue M3. This is literally my perfect car. I've owned a lot of great specs. This one is my favorite. This has had my heart since I was a child, and I mean, it speaks for itself. It's slick top, Laguna Seca Blue. It has cinnamon interior seats. They are not power seats, so this one is the perfect example to be a race spec car. And to notably mention that, I'd like to talk about probably some of the most notable things are in the engine bay. So let me pop the hood real quick. There's a lot going on in this engine bay. From the Mason Engineering brace bar paint matching Laguna Seca Blue, to the Owens dedicated track, to the Jaimez CSL intake, to the beauty cover being cut to allow for heat extraction out, to the electric fan conversion, to the upgraded headlights to being Mercedes-Benz projectors. This car is almost touched everywhere, and it's fantastic. Probably wondering why we're at the back. There's a lot going on back here that the other two cars don't have. First off, this is an OEM CSL trunk lid. I think it dials in the entire back end of the car and makes it look spectacular. The diffuser, it's a CSL style from Vorsteiner, and under the trunk is something special. This right here is the Mason Engineering GTR brace. It's a great option if you're gonna do a subframe reinforcement. It really livens up what I would say is the weak part of the E46. My biggest gripe between all the cars that I've owned is the rear end feels a little loose and not as composed as I would like in a car. And typically a bracing choice in the rear is what livens the car up and gives it a little bit more driving feel. And I would recommend it if you're looking to reinforce your subframe, definitely go this way. It'll make the car drive 10 times better. And that's it for the rear. I'm gonna give you an exhaust clip to show you what this thing sounds like, because the exhaust system on this one is pretty unique. This one is actually OEM CSL headers with a Super Sprint H-pipe and a Meisterschaft GT2 titanium muffler. So it sounds pretty nice. And it wouldn't be a proper sound clip if I didn't give you a little bit of that CSL intake. So let me do that real quick. Thank you guys for watching. I got big stuff planned for the channel. I'll let you in on a secret. That car is actually being sold soon, so it will be replaced here soon. If you guys could obviously scroll down, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your friends. That would really help out. AZO! That's going in the video. This is an airplane. I gotta get hype. What am I supposed to be saying after this? Like teleport. Besito!